Velvet Buzzsaw is the new Netflix original from the director of Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler was like my favorite film of the year that it came out. So when this was announced and that they were bringing back some of the core cast, Jake Gyllenhaal, Rene Russo, for a straight up horror film, and that it was going to be set on, released on Netflix, I was over the moon. I was so excited about this project. I avoided synopsises. Avoided freaking trailers. I avoided it all, man. I went into this thing completely blind. The only thing I knew is that this dealt with the art world in some way, and that's about it. I just didn't know what to expect. But I can't say that I went in with zero expectations, because that's just not true, coming off of my love for Nightcrawler. And because some of the still imagery I saw, and because of the title of the film, I kind of filled in some of the blanks, and I guess maybe that can sometimes be to your detriment as well. As on the flip side of the seeing what's in the trailer and putting together what you think from that trailer of what you want to happen, versus not knowing anything about a movie, hearing a title, seeing a couple pictures and whatnot, and filling in your desires here. I guess you do it on both sides of the coin here. But honestly, being so excited about this movie, really looking forward to it. Did it live up to my hopes and my expectations? Shockingly, no. I really wasn't big on this movie. I'm just kind of meh about it. And that is devastating to me. I'm shocked by that. I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I love Nightcrawler. I was almost guaranteed this was going to be a home run for me. Maybe, I don't know, because for some reason, here's something. I thought that this film was going to be really weird and extremely eccentric. And while the characters are presented as eccentric type people, I didn't find them all that compelling, interesting, or relatable. I didn't really care for anyone in this film. The main actress here, who plays kind of the main character of the film, I couldn't tell you her name. She's I don't know. I don't know who she is. I didn't really care for her all that much, honestly. I wasn't interested in her character. I didn't care for her performance all that much either. I thought Jake Gyllenhaal and all the normal names that you would think would be great. John Malkovich is in here. Toni fucking Collette. When I saw Toni Collette, I didn't even know she was in this movie. When that came up on the screen when I pressed play, I was like, Toni Collette's in this? Got my expectations even higher, because Hereditary was my favorite film of last year, and I think she's one of the best actresses, if not the best actress right now for me, especially in horror. It just elevated my expectations of this film even more. Maybe this is something I'll enjoy on a second watch more than I did this time. But all those people, and there's other familiar faces that you're going to instantly recognize that are good actors and whatnot, and their performances are all fine. It's just that their characters that they were given weren't all that interesting to me. And this is a horror film. This is a film about the art community, and this woman, the main character here, she finds these paintings of this man who has died in his apartment, and she takes it and she collects all of his work. It's hundreds of paintings that he's done over his whole life. And Jake Gyllenhaal plays this art critic, and he's having some kind of a relationship with her. And he looks at the artwork and he's just like, oh my God, this is gonna be, the next thing. And so she takes it in, and maybe the artwork is cursed. I like the premise. It's an interesting premise, and the way it's all set up, and the visuals are great. I like the visuals a lot in this film. Cinematography, the production value, all that is stellar. The acting from everyone, mostly, except for the main girl. Her acting isn't bad. I just personally didn't care for it. So I'm not saying she's a bad actress, because I don't think she is. I just didn't like her or her character much at all in this. So that wasn't working for me. And as far as the horror elements of it, the kills, because that's a lot of what goes into horror movies like this, is you look forward to the demises and how they are presented and the style of them and this and that. I found them to be all very lackluster. And as far as the title goes, because you hear this title, Velvet Buzzsaw, it's very interesting, it's intriguing, it's it's unique, and you think this is gonna play into the movie somehow. And It really doesn't. It's just the name. The character here, Renee Russo, she has a velvet buzzsaw tattoo on her back, and it really, like, when it does play into the movie later, it's very anticlimactic, and you wonder why the film is named the way that it is. I mean, outside of it just being an appealing, interesting, unique name, maybe on a second viewing, I'll catch some kind of, symbolism or metaphor or something that I missed on the first viewing, but I don't know. The title didn't even have a payoff to me. I thought that freaking Toni Collette was underutilized. I thought that Jake Gyllenhaal was great. I think his performance is great. I think he plays this quirky art critic very well. Much, much different than the character that he plays in Nightcrawler. Vastly different. So the guy is a fantastic actor. I don't give a shit what you say. But it's what the characters are doing. It's the story more so, and the characters being placed within that story, they don't really do anything. I never felt invested. I never felt attached. I never felt like I cared all much what happened. And that was shocking to me. I expected to love this film, and I watched it, and it's something that if I didn't know it was attached to Nightcrawler, the director, or anything, I would have watched that and been like, nah. It would not have been something I would look forward to his work from this point on. It would have been like, oh, that was kind of a failed attempt at doing something a little more, odd and edgy. Here's what I wish would have happened. I wish they would have stuck to a better story, created a much more interesting story and more mystery around, like, who is this guy? Where did he come from? Why is his art cursed? Whatever. That's never really explored all that much. And I wish they would have stuck to that. And if they weren't going to do that, I wish the film would have got much more artsy and weird. I wish they would have got really bizarre and out there with it, so that it was like dreamlike, and it was like, terrifying because of how crazy the imagery is, and you can't really make sense of the reality in which you're viewing. Like, there's moments of that. There's little bits, little teeny morsels of that in the movie, but not enough. The film actually plays too straightforward. I hate to keep using the term like expectations, and this is what I was expecting because I went into the movie blind, but I want one or the other. Or both. I mean, fuck, if you can find a story and mesh it with really weird visuals, great. But it didn't do either. It didn't really deliver anything for me. It felt like it was kind of weird and kind of had a story, and it, like, I don't know. You got to do one or the other for me, and it just didn't do either. I thought all the talent in this was wasted. It was a big shame for me. A huge letdown. A huge letdown. Not a terrible movie. So I don't want to go and be like, oh my God, this is terrible. When people watch this, what the fuck is this guy talking about? The performances are good. The visuals are cool. I will give it its credit where its credit is due, for sure. So it's a fine movie. But from the talent involved, the collective collaboration here, it should be amazing. And this is Netflix. They give creative control. There's no studio meddling. This movie should be amazing for me. Hopefully you guys all love it, but it's a big meh for me. And not something I even really want to revisit, to be completely honest. So if it does take a second viewing for me to like it, it ain't coming anytime soon. So this as of right now, 2019, this is my biggest disappointment of the year. I'm bummed. So it sucks, but it is what it is. I have to say my true feelings on the matter. So hopefully you guys loved it. If you've already seen it, let me know. If you check it out, I want to hear your feelings on it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope everyone loves it, but yeah, oh well. All right, guys.